Hi everyone, I'm Amy and welcome to Flowing with Me. So for tonight, our nighttime yoga sequence, and really you can do this at any time of the day, but it's more geared towards winding down. We're going to warm it up a little bit in the beginning and then we're going to wind it down into relaxation. Before we get started, I'm going to be using some blocks and a bolster. Be very mindful of your body and know where your body is allowing you to go, feeling into your body while you are doing any practice. So with our hands resting on our knees, we can start to gently tilt the head to the side, ear to shoulder, and roll through chin to chest, just warming up the neck and the head. Flowing with your breath, inhaling and exhaling always. And the next time you find your chin to the chest, you can bring it back to center, and we'll just look gently right and left, right and left. And up and down. And coming back to the center once you finish. We'll roll the shoulders up, around, and back. Up, around, and back. And switching direction to the front. Beautiful. And while we're here in Sukhasana Easy Pose, we're just going to go ahead and start to rotate the torso around a center point axis. So just feeling into that, rotating around and coming through. It's like a moving, rotating cat-cow. Just taking it really nice and easy. We'll go ahead and switch directions. Inhaling and exhaling. And coming back to a neutral spine, nice and tall. We'll go ahead and come into Dandasana now. So going into staff position with our feet out in front of us. And if you find that it's tucking you here, just go ahead and bend your knees. Well, and you might want to just stick a blanket or towel or anything underneath your knees to make that a little bit more comfortable for you so you can rest your legs. We're going to just flex and point through the feet, flexing and pointing. And we'll rotate the ankles in one direction. And then taking them in the other direction. Beautiful. And from here we're just going to bend the right knee, gently hug behind that leg and flex that foot, lifting up our spine nice and tall. We're just going to extend and bend. You don't have to come all the way straight. We're just getting some extensions in the leg and the knee. Yes. And relaxing that leg down, coming with the other one. We'll go ahead and hug behind, sitting up nice and tall still, and extend and bend. Extend and bend. Terrific. And we'll place those feet out there. So we're going to come into what I'm calling a half sun breath, because it's like a half sun salutation, but it's seated. So with our hands in prayer position, we'll go ahead and lift our arms up on the inhale, exhaling to fold forward. We're still warming up here, inhaling to lift and extend through the spine, and folding back forward on the exhale, relaxing over, coming back up to lift up, and taking our hands back behind us. We're just going to open up through the chest, coming back upright, lifting the hands up and into prayer position. Terrific. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhaling to lift and exhaling to fold forward, relaxing, inhaling, straightening through the back and lifting, exhaling to fold, inhaling to lift back up, exhaling, hands down, inhaling, opening the chest, exhaling to come back upright, inhaling the arms up, and exhaling, hands to heart center. 1 more time. Here we go. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to fold forward, inhaling, face looks out, torso open, chest open, exhaling, folding forward, inhaling to lift, exhaling, hands down and back, inhaling, coming back up, exhale, inhaling to lift the arms, exhaling, hands to heart center. Beautiful. From here we're going to take a nice and easy twist, so lifting the hands up, we'll go ahead and take a gentle twist to the right, nice and easy. Inhaling and exhaling here. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to twist any deeper that you go. Inhaling, arms lift up, and we'll get that on the other side. Exhaling, hand to knee, twisting to the left. One more breath here. And inhaling, arms come up. And exhaling, arms back down. Beautiful. We'll come into some tabletop position for some cat-cows. So our hands are under our shoulders, our knees are under our hips, and we'll just inhale to arch, face looks up, tailbone up, and exhaling to round. And you can flow with your breath for this. And at the end of your next rounding, we'll just come into a neutral tabletop. From here, we're going to take a balancing table. So we'll take the right foot back. Actually, I'm going to move a little bit more forward. Taking the right foot back a little bit. And I always just like to press through my heel just to stretch through the calf and Achilles when I do this. Making sure that we're not putting too much weight in our wrist. We're putting that into the pad of our hand, right under the fingers. We'll go ahead and lift up that right leg just so it's in a nice line with the body, engaging the core and the abdominals. And if it's available to you, go ahead and lift up that left arm to balance. Just a few breaths here. Sending energy out through the fingertips and the heel. Then taking the hand down, the knee down, and we'll get that on the other side. So taking the left foot back and just pressing through that heel a little bit. And when you're ready, we'll lift the left heel up, creating a nice line in the body. You want to engage your abdominals so you're not dipping into that lower back. And when you're ready, you can lift up the arm, reaching out, sending the energy out through both directions. And we'll take that hand down and the knee down and come into a very short child pose. Just letting the body rest down. And we'll begin coming into a slight vinyasa. It's an 8-limb vinyasa, Ashtanga Namaskar. So we'll bring the hands slightly forward and curl the toes into the mat. We're going to lift up for downward facing dog. So pressing the hips up to the ceiling. And really trying to get a nice line through the back. My hamstrings are always tight, so I give a nice little bend in my knees so that I can get the length in my back. And just pedaling through the feet here. I'm sliding just a little bit on my mat tonight, so I'm going to adjust that from time to time. And sending both heels down towards the mat. And then we'll come down to our knees into Ashtanga Namaskara. Our chest and chin will come to the mat, but our hips will stay up. And we'll come through to a gentle baby cobra. Very light cobra here. And taking the upper body down. We'll press back up through tabletop, curling the toes in, and back up into downward facing dog. Just keeping a few breaths here, really getting a nice stretch through the back side of the body. And coming down to our knees. Ashtanga Namaskara, coming down chin and chest. Through into cobra. body down, and we'll press back up one more time through tabletop, lifting the hips up into our downward facing dog, trying to see if we're getting like any more flexibility through the back of those legs, and those hips are really pressing back in, lifting the hips, and taking our knees back down, and Ashtanga Namaskar, chin and chest to the mat, pressing through into a cobra. And we'll lower the upper body down from here, placing our hands under our forehead and just coming into Makarasana, crocodile pose, so toes together, heels apart. And just taking a moment there. And we'll release Makarasana, and we'll bring the right heel to the right buttock, keeping the left hand under the forehead. We'll take the right hand back to grab that foot, and before we pull, just make sure we're tucking the pelvis towards the mat. Getting a nice thigh and quadricep stretch here. And if you can relax that muscle and let it stretch a little bit deeper. And we'll release that hand and foot. And we'll get that on the other side. So right hand under the head and picking up the left heel to the left buttock. Left hand goes around to grab that foot. And if you don't have the mobility for this, it is okay to grab a strap if you need it, or a towel, to see if you can just wrap around that ankle and hold it wherever you can. Breathing here. Notice how calm or ragged the breath might be, making sure it's nice and calm and even. One more breath here. And we'll go ahead and release that foot to the floor, and the other hand comes back. So we're going to take a scorpion pose, but I'm going to shift so that I'm facing you, so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So in that same prone position we were just in, we're going to take our hands out flat with the head facing in one direction. And That side for me is my right. And I'm going to bring my right hand in to my shoulder. I'm going to lift up my right foot. And I'm going to shift my body onto the side and take my right foot as far back as I can comfortably, getting a nice stretch through the thigh and the whole side body and back, really. Breathing here. And we'll gently bring the knee back in, turn the body back onto the stomach, stretching that right arm out, and we'll switch the head to the other side. For me, that's my left. Bring the left hand into the shoulder, bending the left foot up and pressing up to tilt onto the side and taking that leg back behind you. Breathing here, breathing into every area that's feeling stretched. And we'll slowly release this pose, coming back onto the stomach. Hands under the shoulders. And we're going to press back up into a wide leg child's pose. So I'm going to go back to facing the way I was on my mat. So from that laying down position, we'll go ahead and press into a wide leg child's pose. So knees are open to the extent you feel comfortable with, toes together, heels apart, pressing the buttocks back towards the heels and just relaxing down in this position. We're going to be here for several breaths, breathing into the lower back and hips. Slowly we'll place our hands down in front of us and use them to assist us rolling up through the spine. Beautiful. So we'll go ahead and sit to the side of our knees and bring our legs out in front of us. We're going to go for a head to knee pose stretch. So I recommend having a block or two depending on your flexibility level. And we'll start with the left foot out straight, left leg straight, and right knee bent. And we'll just take a block. I usually start out with two. We're going to yin this pose, so we're going to be here for a couple minutes. And just set yourself up for whatever your flexibility level is. I mean, if you need to start here and then gradually shift down and down, you know your body. Set yourself up so you are able to relax into this position and really feel the stretch. So first we're going to start in a nice upright spot. And we'll walk out, trying to keep a nice line in the spine, shoulders down, chest open, breathing here. And on the exhale, we'll just lower into the stretch. I like to leave my palms up because it just creates more relaxation and less resistance. I do know there are times that I need to put my palms down to support myself, but this pose is not one of those. So I let my palms up so I can just rest into the pose. We'll be here for a little bit, so don't overdo it. Don't go too far to start. One last breath here. We'll place our hands onto the mat, supporting ourselves as we gently roll up, out of the pose through the spine. We'll get that on the other side, so we'll take the right knee, right leg forward and straight. and the left knee bent. And I sense that this side is going to be a little bit stiffer for me than the other, and that's totally normal for one side to be more flexible than the other. So don't feel discouraged if one side you have a little bit more flexibility than the other. We'll walk out trying to keep that back nice and long. Inhaling, chest open, and exhaling, allowing the body to collapse onto the blocks. And just feel supported as you relax into this stretch. And if you find that you relax enough to take away the top block, then feel free to. Breathing in to the hamstring, the lower back. And hands will come to the mat and we'll slowly roll up through the spine. Beautiful. As we continue, we'll go ahead and take a butterfly position for another yin fold. You can take your feet as close in or as far open as you like, depending on the stretch you want to get. The closer in, the more you're going to get a stretch through the inner thighs and groin, and the further out, the more stretch you're going to get on the outer outside of the body. So I'm going to kind of keep mine in a mid distance, not too pulled in but not too far out. I'm going to set my block up so I can rest my little head. Sometimes it works for me to set my block out in front of my toes, and sometimes it's better for me on the toes. Let's see for today. This is feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, this is feeling good right now. So just resting forward in this position. If you find that you don't have the flexibility to rest down in this position, or the block is not enough for you, you can go ahead and get a restorative rest here. And just hold on to, that's better. Hold on to that block and just rest forward on the bolster. But for a little bit deeper stretch, you can stick with the block. And if this ever becomes a little bit too intense for you, you can always return to Sukhasana, easy pose, cross-legged position, and continue there. You're doing great. One more deep breath here. And we'll place the hands on the mat or stabilize the block and roll up through the spine, nice and easy. Beautiful. Come to supine positions. I'm going to suggest actually that we start out sitting on the bolster to come into these supine positions, because we're going to come into a supported bridge. So I like to keep my sit bones close to the front edge of the bolster, so my back is also supported as I roll back here. And as we're here, we're just going to bring our knees in first, gently hugging them in this really nice supported space. I really love the knee hug into the chest from here with that those lifted hips. You can even rock a little bit from side to side, using that bolster to get a little bit of a lower back massage. And from here we'll go ahead and just take the feet down and adjust the bolster if needed. We'll come into a supported bridge. So our feet are hopefully under our knees. And our hands can be down at our sides, or they can be up over our heads. And if you feel comfortable extending the legs, you can give that a try. Just be careful that the back is supported and not overly arching. If you have those legs extended, bend the knees now. And bringing the arms down. From here, we'll come into a waterfall position. So just making sure those hips are supported. We'll bring the knees up, flexing through the feet and taking the feet up to the ceiling. Just a straight line. Hands by the sides is fine. Just a nice little inversion. Stretching out the legs. Breathing here. One more big breath. And we'll take the knees bending and feet down to the mat. And from here we can go ahead and lift up the hips. And stretching both legs out on the mat. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and bring in the right knee, hugging in the right knee. Shoulders down. Take the knee across to the bolster. Resting the leg there in a nice twist. You can use the left hand on top of that right knee, and you can take the right arm out to the side, or we can go for a cat chasing its tail, bending the left foot in and grabbing that with the right hand. Just making sure that both shoulders stay on the mat and that we can still breathe fully in this posture, releasing all of the muscles that are trying to hold themselves. Just relax. One more deep inhale here. And releasing the foot that we're holding, stretching that out on the mat, and bringing this knee back up and onto the back we go. Then we we can open that knee just into the armpit a little bit. And bringing it back up and stretching that leg out and down. Fantastic. Take the bolster just very gently to the other side. Nice and easy. And we'll bring the left knee in, hugging that knee into the chest, resting the shoulders down. And then we'll go ahead and cross that knee over to the bolster, holding it in place if needed. For me, it's needed. And then either reaching that left arm out to the side, or if it's available to you on this side, bending that right foot in and taking a hold of that with the left hand. And again, each side is different, so if this side doesn't work out for that, just stretch that leg back out and reach that arm back out. We're still getting an excellent twist here. Both shoulders should be relaxing down onto the mat. Breathing fully and completely, nice and even. And we'll take one more big inhale here. And exhaling, release that foot from the hand. And bring this knee back assisted onto the back. And we'll just open that knee into the armpit space. Going for an opposition stretch. Bringing it back up. And stretching both legs out. Hands up. Really nice long stretch through the body. Bending both knees, feet on the mat, turning to the side. We'll bring ourselves up and set ourselves up for Shavasana. So you may want to support your Shavasana either underneath the back or underneath the legs. For me, the legs are my preference, or you don't even need to use a bolster, especially if you don't have one. You can just lay flat on your mat. And we're just going to ease back down into Shavasana. letting the legs flop open, opening the arms out to the sides. And if you have a little towel or a t-shirt or a piece of cloth that you can just use to cover your eyes, we want to really just tune into ourselves in this time. A lot of videos don't always show a full Shavasana, so I'm always going to give you that here. I'm going to take a full Shavasana because it's really important for integrating the practice into the body. So in this time, we're relaxing every part of the body. We're tuning into ourselves, releasing any tension. And it's fine to fidget around and find that good spot of relaxation, shrugging the shoulders down. And relaxing the forehead, the chin, the nose, the mouth, the jaw, the eyes. Relaxing through the neck and shoulders. Sensing the arms and hands and releasing any tension there. Sending the awareness to the upper body, the chest and the upper back, the rib cage, mid-back. Releasing any tension in those areas. And traveling down to the lower abdominals, the lower back, the hips and the groin and the buttocks. Breathing in and releasing any stored tension in those areas. Sending awareness through the legs all the way down to the feet. Relaxing everything. And you can rest here now, sending your awareness inward. Slowly we'll start coming back to the body, taking our awareness to the room and sounds around us. And just waking the body back up, moving the feet, the toes, the fingers, the wrists. And maybe just starting to wiggle around, stretch out on one side and the other. And then we'll go ahead, bring the knees in, and we'll turn to one side. Linger there just a moment. And pressing up, coming into Sukhasana, easy pose, keeping our eyes closed and just feeling our energy here. Bringing the hands together in Anjali Mudra at the heart center. And we'll rub the palms together today, creating heat. And we'll place that over the eyes and the ears. And up to the head. Energizing our senses. And bringing the palms back to the heart center. We'll lower our gaze towards the floor. Blinking the eyes open gently, letting the eyes adjust. And lifting the gaze. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice tonight. Thank you for joining me. And if anybody has anything that they would like me to focus on in the future in any classes, I'm happy to hear about it in the comments below. And as always, if you have any questions about anything, you can leave them in the comments and I will try to get back to anything that I do see there. All my best, much love and light. Thank you.